There is a tradition that rabbis would only sermonize twice a year. They would speak on Shabbat Shuvah between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and then on Shabbat Hagadol. And since they only got to speak twice a year, they would speak for hours and hours. So get comfortable. However, unlike the days before refrigeration, before storage, this was the Shabbat before you did your preparation for Pesach. I know that nowadays most of us will have already done a lot of our shopping. People have already begun to cook. Menus have been planned. In some houses, tables have even begun to be set. So I'm just going to limit myself to a couple of things. Mishnah Pesachim says, Elu dvarim she'adam yotzei bahem yedei chovato b'Pesach, v'chitrim v'chitin, v'she'orim, u'v'kusmin, u'v'shvon, u'v'shibulat shu'al. These are the grains with which a person fulfills his obligation to eat matzah at the Seder, with wheat, barley, spelt, rye, and oats. Those 5. Only these 5 grains become chametz. The Shulchan Aruch adds, after this, aval lo ba'orez u'sha'ar minei kitniot, v'gam einam ba'im ledei chimutz, umutar la'asot mihem tavshil. But not rice and not other types of legumes, of kitniot. These do not become chametz, and it is permitted to make a cooked food with them. And yet it continues, but the custom in Ashkenaz was to be strict, and however, these foods do not render a cooked food forbidden if they fall into them, and their oils are permitted for lighting at a time when they didn't have candles. They would use oil, and for cooking. Throughout history, this tradition of kitniot has been called in our law texts many different things. Minhag shtut, a stupid minhag. Minhag mahmat ta'ut, a custom resulting from a mistake. And an unnecessary stringency that is followed, should not be followed. And yet, rabbis get more questions about kitniot than we do about chametz or seder. There are 3 levels of kitniot. There are those who permit all kitniot. There are those who avoid grain-like things, rice, millet, and dried legumes, but permit fresh, because those are clearly different than chametz. And those who avoid all kitniot, no matter what. However, derivatives of kitniot, syrups, oils, are permitted, and have been through the centuries, as well as mixtures that contain up to 50% kitniot. Saying all this, Pesach is also a time when we set ourselves apart, when we don't need to eat everything that we eat during the year. And, Rav Jen will attest, for the first 10 years of our marriage, our custom was to argue about whether or not we would eat kitniot, even though I accepted that they were fully acceptable. But I'll say, Ma nishtana halayla hazeh mikol haleilot. How different should this night be from all other nights? Although so many foods can be kosher lePesach, although our Seder should be a bounty of good food, Pesach is still a time to refrain from indulging in foods we don't need. In 2016, the conservative movement, following years of our law codes referring to this as a mistaken custom, decided to do away with kitniot, permitting them for everyone. In Israel, the movement had done this earlier, saying Minhag Yisrael is to eat kidneyot, and I can tell you from experience that if you want to avoid all kidneyot, you will not have a good time. The hechshers solely on foods without any kidneyot limit tremendously what you can have. The oils are not good, the margarine is not good. It's not a thing you want to do. But all that said, our family's menu, excuse me for one moment. Our family's menu, although we do eat kidneyot during Pesach now, has not changed significantly from the very first Seder that Rav Jen and I hosted many years ago while still at the seminary. It is filled with favorite foods, and God forbid we forget any of them. We will hear from our children, from our friends, from our family, from our friends' children. As we finish all of our koshering and our shopping, I want to remind everyone that this is Zman Cheretenu. This is the time of our freedom. And quoting Rav Jen, I will say, please try not to, well, he will say, don't overwork and don't overspend. I would add, don't overworry. There are plenty of fresh foods, fruits, and vegetables you can eat. Find ways to enjoy this holiday. Save the spring cleaning, the full airing out of the house, the cleaning the bedrooms, the cleaning everything else. Save that for May, when you can open the windows, when it's warm, when it feels like spring. Don't worry about the specially branded cottonseed oil. In fact, please don't eat that. It should not be a food product. It is not good for you. A bottle of olive oil or canola oil or simple vegetable oil, brand new, is fine. Forgo the cake mixes that you find on the shelves. They are never that good. Find a naturally chametz-free recipe, a flourless chocolate cake, an almond cake, something that you will enjoy. Eat fresh fruits and vegetables. And on Seder night, treat the Haggadah not as if it's a script, but as if it's a family story you have told hundreds of times, because it is. Follow the steps. Kadesh, Orchatz, Karpas, Yachatz. Kadesh, Orchatz, Karpas. See, if I don't sing it, I can't do it. Yachatz, Magid, Rochsa, Motzi, Matzah, Maror, Korech, Shulchan Orech, Tzafun, Barech, Halel, Nirtzah. If you do each of those, you will know that you've done everything you need to do for your Seder. Tell the story. Talk about what it means to you. Talk about what your parents did, what your grandparents did, stories that you've heard, things you remember. Every year we talk about the Seder. My children were never at the Seder, but we talk about the Seder in my aunt and uncle's house in the basement, because that's where the space was. When my cousin Aaron decided, as we opened the window for Eliyahu, we figured if he's a miracle, he can fit in a window. And my cousin Aaron decided to climb in the window and broke the window. It's a story of Pesach past. It's a family story. It has meaning to all of us, and it's part of our Pesach story. Begin your Seder with good wine. When you get to Karpas, please eat, eat, eat. There are so many foods you can enjoy that have the bracha, Borei Peri Ha'adama. Have salad, have artichokes, have roasted vegetables, have crudité. Enjoy so that no one is surviving through the Magid section on a piece of parsley or a single boiled potato. Kol dichfin yitei v'yachel. All who are hungry, come and eat. None of us should be hungry at the Seder. That's step number 3. Kadesh, Barchatz, Karpas. Eat, please, enjoy. I, with my family, wish you a Chag Kasher V'Sameach, a Zisin Pesach. May this be a joyous holiday and a sweet one, and may we all soon see freedom and peace in our world. Shabbat Shalom.